Hello, gentlemen. How's it going today so far?
Great,
Great,
Bonnie.
thanks.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm great. Congratulations on, first of all, getting the series over to Prime, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Mark, I'm really enjoying it, and I think maybe a little bit too much because I see a lot of Gary in me, and I don't know what that says about me, but it kind of scares me. Can you let me know how this all came into your brain?
First of all, you're not alone. There's too much of me and Gary and too much of Gary and me, and it's bad. It's not good. And that's probably the reason that I'm trying to force a redemption arc on him in season 2. I'm just trying to believe there might be some hope for the likes of me. But I already forget the second part of your question, which seems more important.
Remember it, sir.
Oh, where did
No,
it
it's all
come from?
good.
Right.
It's all
Is that the
good. But no,
question?
just where did it come from? Where did it come from?
Good. Good. Sorry, I was really sort of going down a hole there.
It's all good. It's all good.
It was just sort of a spark of an idea that I had when I was talking to Josh Bowen over at Look Mom Productions. Great
Yeah.
producer, great executive. Love working with the guy. Yeah, I was in a hospital cafeteria with a broken ankle. He asked me if I had any ideas, and I birthed this idea from a really dark place in my mind.
Well, the food alone at a hospital cafeteria is a great springing board, I would think.
Yeah, I was probably eating a nice long Subway sub and sort of just taking stock of my life to that point.
Okay, I get it. I get it. So, Steve, from a studio point of view and an animation point of view, how exciting is it for you guys to have this?
It's huge. This is, I've been working in animation for over 20 years. It's mostly
Yeah.
been, kid stuff, preschool stuff. So I'm extremely excited to be working on things I would actually watch. And so Gary is a prime example of that. Just being able to point people to it and say, I worked on this, I helped, get this made, and look at all the people involved, and it's super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark, I think what's great about it too is kind of like there's no filter. Like it's not like it's on, the CBC. So you're gonna have to watch your language and all this kind of stuff, but you've got kind of free reign. I mean, as a writer, as a comedian, like that's got to be so exciting and so freeing to be able to take this guy and whatever you want, go for it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's the best part about making stuff for online streaming services, for sure, is there's a little more leeway to do whatever you want. But we are trying to find a way to funnel taxpayer money into the show, so stay tuned for that. We are excited.
Oh no, heaven forbid, he can't swear or anything.
We'll make any concession we have to. No, I love CBC. I loved working there, but yeah, it is it's the Wild West online, and it kind of rocks.
Exactly. That's got to be so freeing for somebody like you to do it. And it's funny with Gary because I think we all want to, as I said in the beginning, I saw a lot of me and Gary. I could be quite the curmudgeon when I want to be and whatever. But don't we all have a little Gary in us? Like I think that we all have demons that we need to slay. Mark, you want to take this first?
I would like nothing less than to attribute Gary traits to the entire world. But you might be right. I mean, I think the one thing that Gary has that we all have in common is that we're probably our own worst enemies. I really like the end of season 1, which, spoiler alert, involves Gary realizing that actually getting away from the job that he's blamed for all his problems does not help him get happy.
Yeah.
And that is birthed from my own deep fear that one day I'll be free of all the things that I think are keeping me down. And then I'll realize that the problem has been living inside my head all along. And what a dire day that will be.
And Steve, how do you find Gary relatable?
Yeah, I think Mark kind of nailed it. Like we can be our own worst enemies. I think we all definitely self-sabotage. It's not at the level of Gary, hopefully for most people, but little things here and there, and you do tend to pick a thing in your life that you see as an obstacle. You imbue that with all of things would be great only if, but then once that obstacle's out of the way, oh whoops, I'm still the same. I guess I need to look deeper into seeing what my problems are, and I think that's something Gary definitely goes through, and I think something a lot of people pay therapists a lot of money to go through themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I would also
absolutely.
say that one thing that we all have in common with Gary is we've all been caught in that moment where we have to decide whether the orphan we're about to murder is a demon or an orphan, as he says. And we've all had to make that tough choice, and some of us have come out on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think the best comedy comes from misery?
I think there's a lot of good, happy comedy out there. You know, I think Amy Poehler generates some pretty good, cheery comedy.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara, women. I'm listing women.
Well, yeah, well, okay, I'm not even gonna argue that, of course, but I think too, like when listen, I've interviewed many comedians over my career, and sometimes I sit there in front of them and I'm like, I don't expect like a stand-up routine other than Robin Williams gave me the best interviews ever because he was Robin Williams. But I do find that there's that like low key, it's not what you would expect. And you do have, I think, I don't know, I just think taking miserable things in your life and trying to poke fun at them, maybe that is your own therapy. I don't know. Like, what do you think?
It's definitely nice to know when you're going through a mortifying or terrible experience that you might have the opportunity to turn it into comedy later. It's nice. It sort of justifies the journey a little bit. It's also probably a mental illness to be in the moment, in the middle of a crisis and thinking to yourself, boy, this is going to make a great bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait to have Gary go through this.
Well, I think Gary's going to live on forever and ever because I think he's a fabulous character. So thank you so much for your time, gentlemen, today. I really, really appreciate it. And best of luck with everything. This show is a lot of fun. So thanks so much. I appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bonnie.